Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna put these headphones on real quick and make sure that everything's good with my audio. Make sure that you can hear me okay. Hopefully it sounds all right. So every week I get excited about going live on YouTube. This is my third time in my studio, and it is actually the second shop talk. So um, I wanted to thank everybody for joining me on Shop Talk. I want to see who the first person is to leave a comment. Is there anybody out there that wants to leave a comment? Um, I have something special for you if you leave a comment. I'm looking at the comment section, and I have yet to find out if anybody is. I don't know what's going on with that, but let's see. We go ahead and do this. Turn that off. There we go. I have a backup camera just in case. Well, I don't know what's going on with that. It's glitching, so see if it for whatever reason I'm using my cell phone as a backup camera just because I know that I was having trouble a couple of weeks ago with my main camera freezing up on me and overheating. So I wanted to make sure that I had a backup camera in case one of them goes out, the other one is easily accessible. So I am the Music Man, and today on the show I have a couple of different things that I'd like to talk about. And the first thing that I want to talk to you about is how disappointed I am. Last week I was scheduled to go live with some friends of mine, and they have a channel called Camaro Cave. If you haven't checked out Camaro Cave, you need to check them out. They are on YouTube, and they do a live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and they talk about pretty much a lot of the same stuff I talk about or I plan on talking about. Now, just to be clear, I'm not in competition with them. They do their thing, I do mine. But they've been doing this a lot longer than me. They have a lot more knowledge of the Camaro because I've only been with the Camaro for a couple years now. So if you get a chance, go check them out. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Camaro Cave. Now I was supposed to go live with them last week, and it didn't work out because apparently the platform that they use, I believe it's called StreamYard. Uh, it's not compatible with Safari on my MacBook Pro. And so when Andrew sent me the link, I was not able to connect with him. And so I was in a hustle bustle trying to figure out how to do it. And I tried to download Google Chrome so I could use StreamYard, and I was just really frustrated and flustered because it wasn't happening. So anyway, I wanted to share my apologies with you about that, and I was really disappointed that I wasn't able to go live with them. Now, also remember, I'm a beginner at this. This is literally, I've been doing this since I believe September 27th of 2024. They've been doing it a lot longer than me, so I have only recently tried going live, and so I'm learning. I'm in the learning stages of how to do YouTube and how to absolutely how to go live. Like again, I've only gone live a few times. It's really weird to go live and realize that nobody's really watching, and that's okay. Um, I'm still wanting to build my community, and eventually, I know that everyone will show up. And so I wanted to again just apologize that that wasn't able to happen. Unfortunately, I work third shift, so I go to work at 8:30 at night, and their show is from 8 o'clock until when it's over. So the only time I can actually go live with them is when I'm on vacation, and I was on vacation last week. That's why I had plans to go live with them. But anyway, uh, the other thing that I wanted to maybe address on here is that I want you to know right off the bat, I'm not an expert at anything. I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm not any of that. I just have a passion for cars, a love for cars that, uh, and trucks and motorcycles. And so I put the content that I put on my channel is all different kinds of cars. I'm not one of those people that says you either have to have a Chevy or I don't want to be friends with you, or you either have to have a Ford or I don't want to hang out with you. I'm not like that. I learned very early in the motorcycle community that there are a lot of people that are like that. Like, for instance, um, when I first got into motorcycling, I had a Honda. I had a Honda Shadow 500, a Honda Shadow 500, and it was old, used, but it cost me like $1,100. I couldn't afford a $20,000 Harley at that time in my life, so I rode the Honda and I loved it. And then you have the Harley people like, well, you don't have a Harley, you're blah blah whatever. And then eventually I grew older and I was making more money and was able to eventually get a Harley. And when I got a Harley, I still wasn't like, oh my goodness, if you don't have a Harley, I can't be friends with you. So I'm the same way when it comes to cars. Like last week, I went and test drove the first time ever a Ford Mustang. I've never driven a Ford Mustang, let alone have I ever driven a sports car with a manual transmission in it. And so I got to drive a Ford Mustang GT 5.0 with a manual transmission, and it was a blast. I'm telling you, check it out on my channel. I have a video for it, of course. And then a few days later, I went and test drove a C7 Corvette with the manual transmission. And I'm old enough now that I plan on having more than one car. But for right now, the car that I have is a Camaro. And again, check it out on my channel if you haven't already. So I wanted to put that out there. This channel is not car specific, or if you are offended by me having maybe a different kind of car, okay, I'm okay with that because I like all cars. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, and I also wanted to talk about. Let's see, I have a list over here that I'm looking at, and I'd like to maybe talk about it. So last year they stopped making the Camaro, and the 001 of 350 Camaro Collector's Edition ZL1. They took that to Barrett Jackson last weekend and sold it. Now, for the life of me, in all of the investigations and searching and trying to find how much it sold for, I can't find that information at all to save my life. Now, the only thing I did find is that it did in fact sell. It sold for sure. But I don't know how much for. No one has posted how much it sold for. I don't understand why, but it hasn't. So, um, if you know, leave a comment. Maybe let me know what you have heard. I can't seem to find it. So, oh hey, wait a minute. It looks like somebody might be watching. Finally, hi. How are you today? Leave me a comment if you don't mind. I would love to see who you are and where you might be from. Uh, anyway, so I wanted to start with that and talk about how that is just no one seems to know. We had speculation. We were talking about that, throwing that around on Camaro Cave a couple weeks ago. How much they thought it might sell. We were thinking that probably Rick Hendrick would buy it because he buys all those elaborate cars and he doesn't care how much it costs. He buys it usually. But nobody really knows what it sold for, how much it sold for, or whatever. But we do in fact know that it did sell. So if you know how much it sold for, leave a comment and let me know if you found that out. Now, also, even though this show is live right now, I can tell you that once it's done, once I'm done yammering on about the things that interest me, it will get posted straight to my YouTube channel. So if you aren't watching it right now and you come back later and watch this, you can still leave a thumbs up, you can still subscribe, and you can still leave a comment in the comment section if you choose to. So anyway, now I wanted to talk. The other thing that I kind of wanted to talk to you about today was the recent recall that GM has issued, and the recall itself is for the 6.2 liter V8, and it is actually the motor that has been recalled. Um, it's only from 21 to 24, from what I've read, and it is a safety recall, which is huge. And it is, according to the article that I've got, it says it applies to the Chevy Silverado 1500, the GMC Sierra 1500, the Chevy Tahoe slash Suburban, the GMC Yukon, the Yukon XL, the Cadillac Escalade, and the Escalade ESV. But it's only for the 21 to 24 models. And everybody was freaking out, apparently. And they were wondering why is it not the 25? Well, I just got, literally just today, I received another email from GM Authority. This is where I get most of my information. And I will read this article to you. It says a series of crankshaft and connecting rod manufacturing improvements implemented on or before June 1st of 2024 addressed contamination and quality issues. Model year 25 vehicles were built after these improvements and are not included in the recall. GM's decision to issue a recall follows a series of lawsuits, investigations, and engine replacements. Now, what they are going to do, from what I understand, you take your vehicle in, if your vehicle falls into this category, you take your vehicle in, they will do a thorough investigation. They will figure out if your truck or SUV is involved in this recall. If it checks out that it's not going to be affected by it, what they'll do is they will Um, Literally put high performance oil in it. I don't have that really in front of me. And they will mark it by putting a different oil filler cap on it so that everybody knows that that vehicle has been checked out. Now, if your vehicle is in fact one of the defective ones, they're saying that most likely you will end up getting a complete engine replacement because of this issue. Now we're talking about crankshaft and connecting rods. So if you have one of these vehicles, I'm not a mechanic, but I can tell you that I would highly recommend you don't drive that vehicle until you get it in for an inspection. Because, dude, it could be a matter of your safety. It's straight up issued as a safety recall. So there's no question that it's definitely something that you need to have it checked out. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Maybe you haven't heard about it yet. Maybe you have kind of heard about it, but you weren't sure. I'm just basically wanted to give some of the information that I've gotten. Yeah, the weird thing about it is when you do something like this, I can see once in a while that someone pops in and is watching. I see somebody watching right now. And just like that, they left. So that's okay. Anyway, I just want you to know that it's a weird kind of a strange feeling to uh, be talking live to a camera and know that it's being broadcast out to the public. And I'm one of those people that because I'm a musician, also somewhat of a perfectionist. When I do something, I want to make sure that it's quality. I want to make sure that it's done right. I want to make sure that you can hear me okay. And a lot of times, it's just really kind of strange to not know what's coming through actually until after the fact when it closes out and it gets put on my channel, then I can actually go back through and review it. It's a lot different from when you put videos on because when you make a video and you come in here into your studio and you do what they call post production, you can edit out the things that you say that you don't really want people to hear you say, or you can actually, you can take something completely out of the video. You can alter it. When you do something like this live, there isn't any way to do that. So there's no music in the background. It's just basically me talking, and I'm not gonna get discouraged. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep going, and uh, I just want you to know that like this is fun for me. Hey, somebody else is tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Somebody leave me a comment so I know you're there. Where are you from? What's your name? Anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that I'm not gonna give up. I know that eventually uh, we will have, even if it's just 5 or 10 people on here checking it out. That'll be fun. And I'm not sure where you're watching from or what kind of car you have. What kind of car do you have? Like I said a little bit earlier, I don't want to say I don't care what kind of car you have because I do. I'm interested, but I'm definitely not. I prefer myself. I prefer Chevy. But if you own a Ford Mustang or a Dodge Challenger or whatever, I'm not totally against that at all. So I would love for somebody to leave a comment, tell me what kind of car you drive, what kind of truck you have. If you have a motorcycle, what motorcycle do you have? I have my personal inventory right now is a 2023 SS 1LE. Just this past March, like a month ago, I had my car taken to a shop here locally, and they completely did an overtake on my motor and boosted the power that I have, and I'm absolutely in love with it, even more so now than what I was before. So I also have a 2024 Jeep Wrangler Willys edition, which means that it from the factory it came with bigger tires, bigger fenders. It's solid Jeep. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It is the thing that I drive when it's rainy, when it's snowing. Obviously, I don't drive my Camaro when it snows. So I plan on. I actually was. One of my neighbors actually just recently went to. I think it was down to Kentucky somewhere. And took their side by side down there, and I don't know the name of the place. I'll have to look it up, but that place looks like a blast. So I'm gonna I'm gonna probably try to take my Jeep down there and go off roading. If they have moderate to beginner style trails, it would be fun to just go down there and splash around in the woods for a little while. Anyway, so that's the two vehicles I have. I currently do not have a motorcycle. Last year when I got into have when I had two Camaros, I decided that um, having two Camaros and a full dress Harley Davidson just didn't make sense, and I decided to go ahead and sell my Harley. And the other reason that I sold my Harley was because I had all my life wanted to go on a long trip across the country. And in 2022, I rode my Harley all the way down to Daytona Beach for a 2 week vacation. In no, it wasn't bike week. I rode it down there. It was I believe the end of April, early May, and I went down the coast about 3 hours to Stuart, Florida, to visit some of my friends, and it was so hot. I don't think I've ever been that hot before while riding a motorcycle. But in May, it was so extremely hot. I had to stop on the way back from Stuart, Florida, back to Daytona, and I had to take a break. And I thought, at that point, I thought, you know what? I'm getting a little bit older, and I'm thinking maybe now is the time for me to consider getting a convertible. So I came home. That was May of 22, and in May of 23, I bought my first Camaro convertible LT1. And I had that for a short time, and then I decided to get a coupe. And so I traded it in and ordered a collector's edition Chevy Camaro Panther. So anyway, that's kind of the backstory of motorcycles. Now I do plan on getting another motorcycle someday. I just don't think that right now is the right time for me to have one because I spend all of my free time um, with my car, like all every weekend, vacations. It is pretty much consumed 100% with my car, and so I decided it didn't make sense to have you know a 25 or $35,000 bike sitting in the garage when I'm putting all my extra money and effort into cars. And so anyway, that's basically a backstory on me. And uh, shop talk is about talking about everything. And so Where are my Ford people? Do I have any Ford people out there right now watching? Check it out. I found this on the Barrett Jackson website, and it is about the very first Dark Horse 001, the very first Dark Horse Mustang that was produced. They sent that to Barrett Jackson, and it went across the block, and it sold for $325,000. Wow, that's crazy. Guess who bought it? From what I understand, Rick Hendrick bought it. And that doesn't surprise me one bit because that guy buys whatever he wants to buy because he's got deep pockets. I wish that somebody would tell us what the very first ZL1 sold for. If you know the answer to that question, please make sure you post it in the comment section below. Make sure you let me know. Help me out with that. I'd love to find out. I've looked all over the place. I've looked all over the internet and I can't seem to find out how much it sold for. So anyway, I was planning on doing an hour show, but I think maybe what I might do is I may start with, a half hour to 40 minutes, 45 minutes maybe, just to start off. And then when I start getting people to engage and I start having more people, uh, hanging out with me on this, then maybe it'll go longer than that. Now I do have to say that I have to stop at 8 o'clock because I go to work at 8:30. But anyway, I am excited about Shop Talk. I'm excited about the potential of hanging out for a little bit and talking to my friends on here about cars and trucks and motorcycles. And like I said last week, we probably won't do we probably won't do a whole lot of talking about junk cars unless you know where some junk cars are that need to be restored. That's a different story. Make sure you check out my video on the '64 Corvette that I shot last week. That's pretty incredible. Like, it sat in the guy's barn for 30 years. He bought it in '75. He drove it for 10 years, which is 85. 85 is the year I graduated. He said the car basically sat for almost 30 years, and then he sent it out and had a frame off done on it. And that 1964 is absolutely incredible. So make sure you check that out. And you know, it's pretty great. So anyway, so real quick, I guess I'm gonna do a final rundown on what we talked about today. Again, I want to apologize that I wasn't able to go live last week with Camaro Cave. And the 001 Dark Horse Mustang, the first one ever produced, went across the auction block at Barrett Jackson and sold for $325,000. And then, of course, the other thing that we talked about is the recent recall, an issued safety recall by GM for the 6.2 liter V8 motor because of crankshaft and connecting rod issue. Make sure you take your vehicle in if you have a Chevy Silverado 1500, a GMC Sierra 1500, Chevy Tahoe, Suburban, GMC Yukon, Yukon XL, Cadillac Escalade, and Escalade ESV. Make sure you take it in If it falls in the year model 21 to 24, make sure you take it in. It's a safety issue. I want you to all be safe. So, with that being said, I think that I will officially go ahead and sign off for now. And I will see you next week on Shop Talk. Music Man. I'm out.